Hey guys, welcome back to Old Guy Talks Money. When should you start taking Social Security? Sarasota Tim thinks you should start taking it as soon as you can at age 62. Is he right? Guys, I really didn't want to make this video. I know Sarasota Tim has a lot of haters and I really don't want internet drama. He's made so many of these videos and every time he does, I cringe because I think the reasons he gives to substantiate his point of retiring and taking Social Security as soon as possible just aren't always accurate. Guys, personal finance is just that personal, okay? It is. You need to make the decision you need to make, but an informed decision. The reason I'm making this video is I don't think he's providing good information. I saw his first video on retiring at 62 months and months ago. As I prepared for my retirement, I was doing a lot of research. He popped up in my algorithm. He had over 2 million views, and I thought, well, let's see what he's got going. I watched the video and I went, I don't agree with this. The stats he's giving just don't hold up. But I let it go. The video was several years old, and I thought, water under the bridge. Fast forward, because I watched the video, they keep popping up in my algorithm. From time to time, I would see one pop up about retiring at 62. Finally, after I'd started my channel, I decided, I'm going to try to put the right information out there. And I did a video about Pensacola Pete because I didn't want to call him out. Trying to be fair, but put what I thought the right information was out there. But I'm a small channel, and no one is going to be able to link what he's saying with a counterpoint, if that makes sense. I thought the only way to do that, listen to what he says, and then give my take on it to actually, call him out. So that's what I'm doing. I got a couple points I'm going to make. I'm not going to watch the whole video with you guys. We'll kind of go through, stop, start, let him talk a little bit, and then I'll give you what I think the relevant information is. And I think that's fair. So if you've enjoyed the content thus far, hit the like and subscribe. It will help me grow. And let's get started. So I'm 20 some odd minutes into the video and kind of scrubbed through a lot of his opinions and stuff about why the government wants you to take Social Security early or wants you to wait, why it wants you to wait, and the conspiracies about financial advisors and all that. I don't want to argue the guy's opinion. He's entitled to his opinion. I want to try to focus more on the factual stuff. So scrub through all that. I'm going to play a little bit, listen, and then I'm going to tell you what I think, okay?
Geritol, you're not really retired. Folks, don't listen to that silliness talk. At 62, you're going to sit at home? No. And is $1,700 going to provide you a life that is going to afford you to go out and do what you like to do? No. But 1,700 times 2 will, especially if you don't have any debt and you're a minimalist.
So let's stop right there. And if I look down at my phone, y'all forgive me, I've got notes. I'm retired. I have actually 2 more working days, and I am officially retired. And announced early last year so we could do the transition. But when I first started seriously talking about retiring to myself, I was like, hey, do I want to get a part-time job? Do I want to do a little something to make a little knockdown money, take pressure off the portfolio, have some cash money in my pocket, Thought, okay, maybe. What would I want? So really, I was like, if I could make $500 a week, I'd really feel pretty good. Then I started doing the math about how many hours I was going to have to work to make that, okay? And I'll use his example in a second, but honestly, if you look at some of my other videos, that's why I started doing this experiment on trading options, because I was like, maybe I can do that and accomplish the same thing without having to get a part-time job. But let's talk about what he said. Okay, so it's $1,700 from the government, and then that's not enough to live on a loan, so you make another $1,700. He said it, X2, right? So I thought, gosh, do people really understand how difficult it's going to be to make an extra $1,700 in retirement? So let's walk through that. All right, if you want to net, and I'm assuming he's talking net, not gross. If you want to net $1,700, we got to assume at least a 10% federal tax rate and 7.65% FICA. Okay, I'm going to assume, well, he lives in Florida. Okay, so there is no state tax there. I live in Georgia. We do have state tax, but I'm trying to be fair. So if you look at that, I'm going to look at my phone because I got my notes here. All right, so essentially, he's only going to net 82.35%. So we got to gross that number up, which means to net $1,700, an extra $1,700 a month, he's got to make $2,064.36. Now we're talking part-time. And again, I want to be fair. You know, obviously the pay rates are different depending on what you're doing. But if assuming you just go out and make $15 an hour, you would have to work 137.62 hours a month or 34.41 hours per week. Guys, that's not retired. It just isn't. And I think he's failing to understand how difficult it is to make up for that lost income when you're working. Again, I'm not saying he's wrong. Everybody's got to do them, you know, as they say, do you. But when I heard that, you know, 1,700 is enough, but 1,700 x2 is, I don't think he's lost touch with reality, how hard it is to make $1,700 net and what that would actually take. So I move forward again, and he goes through this comparison of his twin brother. He says, you know, it's the same fact patterns. He takes Social Security at 62. His brother takes it at 67, and he's going to go through and do some math. And I want to talk about his math in a minute. But right here in a second, he's going to talk about the average life expectancy. All that stuff I cut out at the beginning of the video, he kind of goes through this whole thing about how the average age of death for a male in this country is 73. So here, let's hear what he says.
That would take me to 73. I would now have collected $224,400. So my twin brother, he got $2,200 a month. He picked up another $500, but he only had 6 years to collect before he turned 73, the average lifespan. And
all right, so here's what bothers me. He's done this consistently through all his videos. And I want to be fair to him. If you go out there and Google it, the average lifespan for a male in this country is 73. That is taken into account everybody, okay? Infants through death. And it distorts the average age because so many people pass away young. If you look, though, and I'm going to give it to you, I'm going to have to look at my phone again, so forgive me. But if you look at the Social Security Administration, okay, and you look, and it will say the average life expectancy based on someone who is currently 62 is another 19 years. Okay, so he's saying 62 is 11 years. There's another 8 years that's out there. And it just bothers me because his point is you're never going to live long enough to see this extra money. You need to get it now because Google says you're going to die at 73. And the fact of the matter is once you're already 62, your average lifespan is already much longer than 73. That just really bothers me. And I think, you know, if you just Google it and stop right there, average age of death in this country, and you see 73, that's fine. But you need to dig a little deeper because you can be misleading. You know what they say, and I'm an accountant. Somebody accused me of this one time, and they said, you know, numbers don't lie, but liars use numbers. I'm not saying he's lying, but I do think he's giving bad information here. All right, so let's see what else he has to say. All right, so like I said earlier, and again, I'm not trying to play his whole video. I'm just trying to give you the salient points. He does this analysis where he does, you know, his twin brothers, and he says, okay, for twins, I take Social Security at 62 and I get $1,700 a month. My twin brother waits till he's 67 and he gets $500 or more, and he's going to do a bunch of math, a whole bunch of math. He's going to show how much better off he is taking it sooner than his brother. And he goes through all this and he does a whole lot of talking, and then he talks about they both died at 84. Okay, so listen to what he says about this.
132 months, another 11 years. Wow. I mean, it's a no-brainer. Well, now let's go to the age of 84. Let's take the average age of 73, throw it out the window. Let's go all the way out to 84 years old before him and I both pass away, ironically, on the same day. We had a full life. The last few years were not that active. The last several years might not have been. I mean, we died at 84. 84 is 84, okay? You're not out running around the block. You'd be lucky to walk around the block. So, at 84 years old, by me collecting since 62, I've collected for 22 years of my life. And it came up to $448,800. Almost $500,000. Almost, well, it's $450,000 roughly. $450,000 I collected from Social Security until I was 84 and died. My brother, my twin brother, he collected 5 years later, left $102,000 on the table, but he got 500 more bucks a month. He collected for 17 years because he did go on out to 84. 17 years, 5 years less than me. Guess what he collected? That $500 more a month he got over the 17 years when he started, he got the exact same amount. $448,800. That's what we both end up collecting, except he waited.
All right, so let's stop right there. You get the fact pattern. He retires at 62. He gets $1,700 a month. 5 years later, his twin retires. He gets $500 more. They both pass away at 84, and they have essentially collected the same thing. Okay? Except his brother waited 5 years. When I heard this, I thought, this cannot be right. I've done the math. If you go back to the Pensacola Pete video, I will actually show you the break-even point of waiting between 62 and 67, and it is not 84. It's right around the 79 or 80 years of age range. Forgive me, y'all can go back and look. You can do the calculation, but I'm telling you, it's right there. So I thought, how is this possible? How did he do this? And then it dawned on me. All right, at full retirement age, you get your full benefit. At 62, you get 70% of that amount. I do not know where he came up with this arbitrary $500 that his twin brother was getting, but the math don't math. So if you look at it at $1,700 and really grossed it up, so that was 70% of the full retirement age amount, his brother is actually getting $2,428.57, or $728.57 more. Okay, so it's $200 and almost $30 more a month. So the fact of the matter is, his math is not mathing, because at 84, his brother would have collected roughly $47,000 more. Phone went dark a little bit. $46,628.28 more. This is why I had to do this video. Maybe I'm just an accountant and I can't stand math being wrong. It's giving people information and encourage them to retire at 62. If they want to, that's fine, but at least know all the right information, because this is just wrong. His math is just wrong, and he's using it to try to convince people to take a retirement as soon as possible. All right, let's see if there's anything else he's got to say.
He worked. He gave up freedom. He gave up his best years of his health and everything else to work for what? Not a penny more. $448,800. He ends up collecting and dying. $448,800. I end up collecting and then dying, but I had 22 years of freedom, 5 more years than he did. Now, some people will say, oh, you're only saying $500 more a month. It's more than that. Well, let me tell you, folks, it could be more and it can be less. It's actually.
So he's kind of dancing around what I just said. It could be more or less. But why didn't he provide the right information?
Very little difference. Well, let's say that My brother got $700 more a month.
All right, so he's close there. And that, you heard my number, 728.57. That's what it is.
5 years later. Pretty considerable amount of money. Then here's what he got. Okay? He collected $2,400 a month, not $22. Okay, he got $700 more than me. Remember how much I got over 22 years? $448,800. If he got the more money, if he collected actually $700 more and died at 84, if he lives to 84, he would collect $452,200, which is a whopping $3,400 more money over 22 years.
All right. I think what he did, was take the extra couple $100 that he's throwing out there and multiplying it times the number of years, not times 12 times the number of years. Because what did he just say? $3,400 extra? And the actual number is $46,628.28. It's just wrong. It is just wrong. All right, guys, I'm going to wrap it up here. I hope you enjoyed the content. Hit that like and subscribe. It will help me grow. I hope you understand my point in doing this is not to try to dog this guy out. But it bothers me when people have a large platform and they're going out there providing information on a super, super important topic. This is probably one of the most important decisions you'll ever make in your life is when to retire, when to take Social Security, because it has such long-lasting impacts. And if you're going to do that, please provide accurate information, not just what you think, and then try to come up with facts, supposedly facts, to support that foundation. If he had come out here and said, guys, I retired at 62. I never lived in a home, never had a 401, blah, blah, blah. Look at some of the other videos. You'll see what he says. But I decided to retire at 62. This is my life. This is why I did it. If you want to think about it, here's some things to think about. I'd be, fine. That's fine. You do you. But to get out here and say everybody should do this, 9 out of 10 people do it. If you don't do it, he implies that you're making a mistake. And then he goes through and comes up with all these underlying facts to support that. I couldn't do it. So again, not looking for internet drama, but I told my wife this morning I was going to make this video, and she said, just can't stand that the math don't math. I was like, yeah, I just can't do it. So, guys, hope you enjoyed it. Hope y'all had a great holiday. I will see you in the future.